Hello again. We are finishing our discussion for this chapter by talking about inverses of linear functions. So let's get started. First of all, what is an inverse? It's basically a function that does the exact opposite of the function I've been given. So it undoes everything that the original function did, so that if I perform both functions, I'll get back to where I started. It's like basically doing nothing. All right, so in other words, the numbers that were outputs are now inputs, and the numbers that were inputs are now outputs. So since we're talking about x's and y's, the x's and y's are going to switch places. Every x becomes a y, every y becomes an x. So when I'm talking about ordered pairs, I'm just going to switch the order. If I have a list of ordered pairs like 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, the red numbers are my x's, the blue numbers are my y's, so if I want the inverse of that, I just switch the order. 1 and 2 becomes 2 and 1, 3 and 4 becomes 4 and 3, 5 and 6 becomes 6 and 5. Similarly, if I have 9 and 12, 7 and 13, 10 and 14, that becomes 12 and 9, 13 and 7, and 14 and 10. I just switch the order in each pair. Now when we're talking about functions, it's a little more complicated because I have to switch every y with every x. So since most functions are given to me as f of x or g of x, I need to change that to y so that I'm talking about x's and y's. And then I switch the x's and y's in the entire equation, and then I'm going to solve the new equation for y. So now it looks more like a function like the original one did. Okay, so for example, I've got f of x equals 2x plus 7. All right, well, I'm going to change that f of x to a y so that it's now y equals 2x plus 7. To find the inverse, I'm going to switch the x and the y, so instead of y equals 2x plus 7, it's x equals 2y plus 7. And now I need to solve that for y. Okay, so to do that, y is not by itself. The first thing I need to do is get rid of that 7, so I add negative 7 to both sides. The 7's on the right are going to cancel out, so I have x minus 7 equals 2y. And now I simply need to divide by 2. And x minus 7 over 2 becomes 1 half x minus 7 over 2. And then the 2's on the right are going to cancel, leaving me with just y. So there's my inverse. Y equals a half x minus 7 halves. Okay, one last example. G of x equals 5x minus 4. Change the gx to a y, so I get y equals 5x minus 4. Switch the x and the y, so I get x equals 5y minus 4, and solve for y. That means I need to add 4 to both sides, so I get x plus 4 equals 5y minus 4 plus 4, which cancels. So I have x plus 4 equals 5y. Divide both sides by 5, and I get x plus 4 over 5 equals 5y over 5. The 5's on the right will cancel out, so I have 1/5 x plus 4/5 equals y, or y equals 1/5 x plus 4/5. We're going to do more of those tomorrow, kind of talk about how the graphs are related too. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and I will see you tomorrow.